I think the ultimate paradox of an all-benevolent god is maybe not the first topic, yeah.
Put some fucking clothes on.
I hate wearing shirts. They're chest prisons, okay?
Mine is fine because I can see you guys both the same size.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're both the same size. It's just for him, whatever reason
We're doing it again, guys.
Cameron is taking that out of context too.
Keep my voice warm and resonant and low.
Oh.
What's up, suckers?
What's up, suckers?
And then welcome them to episode 18 of the Unboxing Life podcast, and then say,
what's it called?
I'm not repeating the name of the podcast.
Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 18 to the Unboxing Life podcast. My name is Brian, and we have Alex.
What's going on, everybody?
Cameron.
Hey, what's up, guys?
David.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Trevor.
He didn't... Okay, so he's going to introduce me, so you too.
Okay.
You're trolling. Honestly, you're trolling, Trevor.
Whatever. We lit. This is the Unboxing Life podcast. We are joined by one of our special friends. His name is Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little about you, as Alex fucking drops everything.
Jesus Christ. Alex is actually just like having a 2-year-old temper tantrum on the other side of the camera over there. David cannot contain himself. All right, yeah. So anyway, Brian is going to tell us a bit about who he is, what he's doing with his life right now, and how he knows the members of the podcast.
Yeah. I'm here to spread a little diversity in this podcast.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing more diverse than a bunch of white dudes from Florida talking about whatever they want.
Excuse me?
White dudes and Alex.
Alex is half white.
I'm actually whiter than being from Florida. I'm from the Northeast. Thank you very much.
From Massachusetts, right?
Yep, there you go.
So, a little bit about myself. I was actually born and raised in Staten Island, New York.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I heard I hear that you're related to our Alex, right?
Yeah, we're cousins. Believe it or not.
We are cousins.
Yeah. My
Nice.
dad's side.
We met Brian through Overwatch, just like we did with Alex, basically.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not that we met Alex through Overwatch, but that we got to know him more.
Well, we both. He was hyped for Overwatch because he's a Blizzard fanboy, and he was telling me to get it. So I got it the day it came out. We played Overwatch a lot, and then that's when we all played together. So
Brian is our Mercy.
Yeah.
Healer.
And
He's our
he lives
Mercy
with that.
and our Moira.
The primary healer.
Yeah, very good
Yeah.
at it as well.
in
He
the
has
virtual world and in the real world.
Yeah, exactly. He has an affinity for healing. You want to tell the people what you do?
Of course. I'm a nurse. I actually come from a whole family of nurses, so continue the legacy, I guess.
Cool.
Dang, I didn't know that.
I graduated last year, and now I work in the operating room in Staten Island, which is really fun, to be honest. Very
Front line.
organized.
Represent.
The meme you sent me about the surgeon saying a bunch of gibberish and like you having to understand it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'll have to send it to you, the rest of you guys.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah. But,
Alright.
Nice.
yeah.
So let's jump into our
Well,
traditions. He didn't want
welcome.
to join us in the traditions this week, so who wants to go first?
Always a guest. Yeah, I can go. I guess I rarely go first.
That's true.
Okay. Thank you, my Black Thought. I know I've recommended him before, and people are tired of hearing about him. But this is from 2018. It's a solo track off his first Streams of Thought EP. Most importantly, it's a bit of a tribute to our man Alex Trebek, who rests in peace. He,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Does he
that's away
mention
over the
your
week.
song?
No, I just thought the tone of gratitude that Black Thought has on this song to like people who taught him things and stuff that happened in his life was really fitting. You know, my dad and I actually have been watching Jeopardy a lot, even just lately, and I did as a kid and everything. So he's,
I grew up on game shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Jeopardy's always been my favorite. Really, it's like
That and Wheel
Yeah.
of Fortune.
yeah, the Red Astra one. Another, yeah,
Price is Right's pretty great too.
Mhm.
yeah.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he's taught knowledge and curiosity to everybody. He's very dignified, intelligent man, and just seemed to have a great life and lives exactly how he
He
wanted.
just felt like your cool grandpa. Like
Yeah,
he would be a great grandfather.
Everybody's there's after he passed, everyone was sharing clips obviously, and the best ones were the ones where it was like rap categories. And so he's like just barring out with like Lil Wayne verses and it's so fucking funny. So they just compiled those in like a 2-minute video. They're all really good. But
So tell me about that bar that he said he needs to go see a shrink.
yes. What is? He said life is crazy. I said life is crazy. Or I said it backwards. yeah.
Tunchi.
All right.
Tunchi.
So
Do you want to give us
track an
that
artist one more
title
time?
again?
Oh yeah. Again, it's Thank You by Black Thought, and thank you, Alex Trebek.
Cool.
All right.
Fuck yeah, I like it.
Alex, you wanted to go next?
Give
All
it
right,
to your
yep.
funny.
Yep.
Give it-
Okay.
give it
So
your
I
laughing
remember. Yes, exactly. So
That's
the last time the joke was made that my jokes are Laffy Taffy jokes. So that gave me the brilliant idea. My boys, I have here a Laffy Taffy, banana Laffy Taffy, and I'm going to read the joke from the Laffy Taffy.
Let's get it.
That's
Oh my
good.
God.
Banana flavor is the best, by the way. So
Yeah, I was gonna say banana.
Oh no, I
flavors
like the
enough.
pink.
No, strawberry. Yeah, the pink,
Yeah.
the strawberry
I love
one
them
is the
all.
best one.
I love them all.
yeah, that's fair.
All right. What did the gangster say to Julius Caesar?
What?
I hit him up. I don't know.
Okay.
You're my Rome boy.
Oh my god.
Jesus, that was
Oh
terrible.
my god.
Ooh, no,
Honest to God, I don't get it. So
Did you not,
my
I don't get it either.
Rome boy.
as opposed to
Rome boy.
homeboy?
Home boy.
Oh,
Caesar, bro.
What did the
I'm done. Episode over. We're done. It's over.
Yeah.
What did my gangster say to his homeboy Caesar? You're my
my
Rome boy.
God.
Oh Jesus Christ, yeah, man. Wow.
My Rome
Wow.
boy.
I think
that comes straight from
we
the
might
Laffy
have
Taffy,
to
bro.
we might have to cycle back to finding non-Laffy Taffy jokes because that was horrendous.
Honestly, I enjoyed that more. So
Yeah.
We can
Save the
cycle
next-
a
next week.
truly awful one like that in there every once in a while. I think, just so you never know
Yeah.
the level.
okay,
of
wait. So how does it
dab you're
it
gonna
spell
get.
gangster? Is it gangster or gangsta?
Oh, it's
I said gangster, but it says gangster.
it's all
my
yeah. It's
God.
ER.
Oh my
Yeah, dude. It's the
God.
back of a children's candy. It's ER.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
But
How does
why would they put a gangster joke on the back of a Laffy Taffy though?
Oh, dude.
That's nuts.
It's your own
Because
boy.
this is Rome
Come on, what's
boy.
a gangster?
Yes, how does a gangster say it, my friends? How does 50 Cent say it? You have heard of 50 Cent, I assume. How does he say hello to Julius Caesar?
You've
Oh
heard of
my
50 Cent.
Here are my shekels, my good Rome boy.
Jesus.
That's
All right.
wild.
Can you
All
go ahead
right.
with your fun fact?
Yeah, I would love to.
Baby boy.
We got a nice wholesome one this week. So, the Hawaiian island of Kauai, which I hope I'm saying that right,
Oh.
encourages tourists to check a dog out of shelters for a day as a part of a field trip for dogs program. Having the dogs out and about gives them exercise and increases their chances of getting adopted by a local. And they say like about once a week they have one of the people who like rent the dogs, which is actually free. It's a free program. One of the people who rents the dogs about once a week will fully adopt them and like fly home with them. So
Dang.
That's
Oh,
fucking dope.
super cool program.
Wow. Yeah, that's sweet. Dang.
I want to go be Kauai with the dogs.
Yeah, that is a very Kauai fact
I
indeed.
just want to go to Hawaii.
Me too.
Yeah,
I want to leave the states.
Looks like a nice place.
that is still in the States. I
like to leave
regret
the
to
States.
inform you.
Oh wait,
Wait.
I want to
What's he
leave
doing?
the States.
Oh, I guess market. I don't know. I got a call. We can keep that in.
What the fuck is happening?
Dude, I can't believe you said that. That is so
I-
fucking funny, dude.
That is
That is the most Brian thing I've ever heard.
that is so unscripted. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Is he on a phone
He went
call
off
right now?
script.
Yes, he's on the phone.
Oh my god.
Don't ever
Okay.
Put
abandon
your phone on mute. You're not allowed to be interrupted anymore. This is
Don't
not how
ever-
we do things.
the
From me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
dude.
fuck.
it's my dad. He'll kill me.
Dang.
That's true.
He should have killed you for you not being able to tell that Hawaii is still in the States.
Yeah, it was a joke. I was testing all of you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I believe that.
True.
I believe that.
True.
I'm gonna give you
Viewers
the benefit of the
decide,
doubt
was he testing us?
on the one
I
time.
want to be on the mainland.
Okay.
Like
That's fair.
continent.
All right, so I have it's a weird quote. I'm quoting a book that I just finished last week. It's called
Okay.
Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I think it's Rowell.
Hmm.
Never know how to pronounce last names, but it is like my favorite book of all time. It's such a good read. It's so fun. It's like the dialogue is so quirky. It's such a cute love story. So if you're in the need of like a good book to read, it's pretty cool. But this
What's
is
the
a
book
little-
called again? Sorry.
It's called Fangirl by
Ah.
Rainbow Rowell.
Cool.
I have it right here. You see? It's
Soon enough, Trevor will start his own book club, which will surpass that of Oprah.
Yes, indeed.
I would love to join a book club.
Let's do it. All right.
But anyways, so this is a little excerpt, and it kind of ties into our like Harry Potter conversations and how Cameron has never read the Harry Potter books. So this is kind of funny. So it's just dialogue, and it says, "You've read the books? I've seen the movies. Kath rolled her eyes so hard it hurt. Actually, maybe because she was still on the edge of tears, on the edge. Period. So you haven't read the books. I'm not really a book person. That might be the most idiotic thing you've ever said to me."
Wow. Get bodied, Cameron.
I'm not a book person. No, I mean, I acknowledge that I'm sure the books are better, and I don't like doubt that. I just haven't put aside the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. You should
That's
also put
funny.
some time for this book because it was an incredible experience, and I'm very happy that I read it.
Dope.
Nice.
I'm just
Check
not a
it
book
out.
person.
Okay then.
That is the most idiotic thing you've ever said to me.
Exactly.
Boom. 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 Boom.
Nah.
All right. So
All right.
we should have set our docket this week. I guess we don't really have a docket. We're just gonna be rattling off some philosophical prompts.
Yes, we have. Since we are bringing on the intellectual god Brian, we thought, let's freaking get it, boys. High society philosophical debates, sipping wine, imaginary wine, the whole deal. I guess I don't know.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Yes, we're gonna be talking philosophy.
All right. I want to read the first one.
Okay, let's jump
Fellas.
into it.
Fellas, is it better to know how or when you die? I say neither, but that's just me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a cop-out.
So
That's
okay,
a cop-out.
okay. Let me
That is
let
a
me
cop.
let me interject real quick at the beginning here. So, is the question then? Is it better or like if you had to choose? Because I think the prompt should be if you had to choose. Because
If
I
you
would
had to
I
choose.
choose
Yeah, then it
neither
would be
as
having
well.
to choose.
I definitely choose neither. I do not want to know how or when I die because I would live my life so outrageously paranoid. Unless, like, so I guess then my answer, if I had to choose, is I would rather know when. If and only if it's, like, until that point, I cannot die.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
being said, I
Yeah.
could also have happen to me and, like, drown in a fucking, like, almost drown and then be a vegetable for the next, like, 15 years, probably.
No.
So I guess I don't know.
Spoilers if you've never seen.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
I
That's
would-
true.
Put that in there.
I'll mark that. I'll,
Yeah,
I'll,
It's fine. It's
I'll-
fine. It's fine.
I'll beep it
For the
out.
question, for
and
that
do
question, is
another.
definitely a definite. You will definitely die on that day, or you'll definitely know how you will die.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's like fate.
There's no escaping it.
Ryan, stop.
I don't
doing
think-
If I had to
I don't
choose,
think I
I
would
would
want
choose
to know.
when.
I don't think I would want
Ryan.
to know when I die at all.
Yeah. But
Mother-
here's the thing: if you had to choose, I don't know.
Dude, I would rather know when if I had
Yeah.
to choose.
Yeah,
Because
certainly.
if you know how, then you're just gonna avoid everything. Like if you die in a car accident, you can't drive. Like you're just gonna be paranoid that you're gonna die
You-
every
you-
single fucking day.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even want to walk out of your house.
No.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you
There
if you know
is-
when you die, you're gonna spend the rest of your life like in anticipation of that. It depends. It all depends on when it is. It could be short and you could be scared, or
Yeah.
it could be long. And
To
you're
be
like,
fair,
"Alright."
a lot of people live like that already. They're already scared of death. So
That's
like,
agoraphobia.
But
Yeah.
the best case scenario with knowing how you're gonna die would be old age,
Old
and then you'd be
age,
like,
yeah.
I'm straight.
I just thought of that.
That's what I was
But-
thinking. Yeah, it's kind of like a roll of the dice either way because you don't know what you're gonna get. But once you get that answer, then you know.
Could get
okay,
tomorrow.
so let me spin another question then. In that
Mhm.
scenario, what is old age? Because certain like life expectancies aren't standard across the board. We're not all expected to die. So old
mean,
age, when you think of old age, it's like 80 to like 90 or whatever. But maybe some
That's, yeah,
people
this is a
say,
subjective
yeah,
definition.
some people maybe in Africa they only live to 30 or something. Like
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but that's
yeah.
because of disease and famine and stuff like that. They're not dying of old age.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
would
when I
be-
think of dying
that
of
would
old
be-
age,
You can.
it's like when you like when you just pass away in your sleep. Like that's honestly the best case scenario.
yeah. I want to be awake when I die.
yeah,
actually.
I don't want to, dude. I don't want to fucking no. That's disgust. It's. I think about that all the time, dude. Like not waking up and then like your mother coming into your room or your spouse coming into your room and you're dead.
Yeah.
That's fucked. That is so
Yeah.
horrifying.
Then how else would you want to go?
If you're both like over 80,
I would rather
you kind of.
I would rather go like Trebek. Trebek
Yeah.
died with his family by his
Pancreatic
side.
cancer?
Which is the worst
It's 80.
cancer.
No, look, like in the general sense, like you could die in your sleep surrounded by friends and family. I think that's fine.
That's fine. I don't want to be alone and die in my sleep.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants that.
Oh.
But I think even I would want to be surrounded by friends and family, but awake because I want to see what death is like. I want to feel it.
You want to feel the pain?
That's actually
Not-
hauntingly true. I'd
Right.
never said that out loud, but you're actually very right. I wouldn't want to just go in my sleep.
Yeah, because you only die
'Cause
once, so you only
only
get the
die
chance to
once.
experience it
Damn,
once.
that's
Yeah.
fucking true. Fuck. I never really thought about that. Like for sure. Yeah, man.
There you go.
But physiologically, can your body like just die while you're conscious?
Yes.
Yes
Wait,
and no. I
yeah,
mean,
right.
they've.
You're shot in the head, right?
You could survive
you
being
bleed
shot in the
out.
head.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, there's instances where it's like an instant death while you're
No,
still
no.
awake. There's
I'm
no
not
like,
talking about any of that.
There's ideas in psychology as well that like the brain gets dumped with chemicals in a certain fashion when you die.
Mhm.
And so, the whole, there's there's so many myths surrounding death of like coming close and seeing the other side, going towards the light, seeing your life flash before your eyes. On paper, if that happens while you, like, if you consciously go to sleep and then you're just like, I mean, maybe you're having a really fucking trippy dream and then you just kick the bucket, but it'd be, I mean, depends on how you feel about the afterlife, but it's like, yeah, I would want to experience dying over not experiencing it if it only happens once.
When you guys dream and you dream of dying, do you wake up immediately every time?
not
Because we're-
always.
No.
Mm,
Expand on
Usually,
it, 'cause I've every time I've died in my dreams, I wake up instantly.
yeah.
It's like
I think
Inception.
that's because the body does not know what death feels like. You never experience it. That's why you wake up.
David said that he doesn't.
I just feel like
I don't die in my dreams.
You've never
Dang.
died in your dream.
No, it just ends.
You're lying.
It
Boss
just
move.
ends like a movie.
boss move.
I'm serious.
Move.
I think I feel like I usually when I die in my dreams I wake up, but I feel like there's been a few times where I can remember that like I had this storyline and I die and then it's just sort of like another dream started or something. I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like or maybe I've probably had dreams about the afterlife too, but so I guess that kind of counts as well, but it's pretty rare.
I
Yeah.
don't think I usually wake up, I would say. I think I've had times where it was like what you're saying, David, except it was like a natural story progression. It was like whatever world I was painting, it was that I was dying and going to another place. But it's not like heaven or hell or something like that. It's like, it's just like, I don't
Moving
know.
to a different world.
Like I die and then I get brought, yeah, like isekai almost, fucking, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not, it never feels like that. It never feels like I'm in a show or something like that. But it just like, I mean, you know how like random bullshit happens right in front of your eyes when you're dreaming, and you're like, "Yep, that's right." Like that makes sense. Like in the time,
Yeah.
to a degree at least. Like you're not lucid, but you're not questioning the things that are happening, which would not make sense in the real world. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say has happened to me is that I'd say I usually wake up, and if I don't, it's like a transition moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never dreamed of a particular afterlife, I don't think. If I have, I don't remember it. Which is the haunting
I don't think I
thing,
have
is
either.
like maybe you have and you don't actually remember because we're so terrible at remembering our dreams.
Yeah. Do you guys think it would be interesting if you could learn things about, like, some people think you can learn like metaphysical stuff about like the afterlife and all that from dreams. I don't really buy that, but
I don't either.
Me
It's
neither.
just
I mean, the
projections
current-
of your mind and how you understand it, and like
Yeah,
it's
how
just-
you want to understand it.
It's
If
just,
you wanna-
your
Go
dreams
ahead,
are just
Ryan,
an
go ahead.
amalgamation of all your memories that you've had either in that day or just in the past.
Yeah,
yeah. I feel you.
just in a twisted version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right,
Dang, that's interesting.
I kind of want to move on to the next topic.
All right, let's
Yeah.
get it.
This is the so we just have it as Ship of Theseus. Is how you
Theseus.
pronounce it?
Theseus.
Theseus.
I think. Yeah.
Theseus. Yeah.
So I'll read the wiki excerpt before we get into it. So, in the metaphysics of identity, the Ship of Theseus is a thought experiment that raises the question of whether an object has had all of its components replaced remains fundamentally the same object.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the
And
idea is
what are we-
you build a ship. You build a ship out of wooden planks, and you take that ship out, and it's rough seas, and so you take a little bit of damage. So when you come back in the harbor, you have to replace a few of the planks, and then you do that over and over again, where you go out, you take damage, and you replace some of the parts, and then you bring it back, and you've made repairs so many times that not a single plank from the original ship is left, but it's all new planks. Is that still the same ship?
It's a question of identity.
Like everything,
Right.
including the nameplate on the back, has been replaced at one point. Is that still the same ship?
I could draw a few comparisons to that. Like to the first
Yeah.
thing I thought of when I read this, because I had never heard of this concept before. The first thing I
Yeah,
thought
no.
of when I read it was that in terms of music, when there's a specific band that you like, and especially in like metal scenes, they tend to cycle out their band members like constantly. Like every couple years, a band will lose its
Yeah,
member and then have
makes
to bring
sense.
someone on. So, like, there's a fucking post-hardcore band called Slaves, and they had a vocalist for like 4 years, and he left, and I think everyone else in the band is completely different. So, is that the same band? I mean, you enjoy their music still, and the new album that they put out is my favorite by them, but it's not the same. It's literally not the same band. It's just under the same name. So in
Yeah.
those instances, can you still call it Slaves? Or if M Shadows left, would it still be Avenged Sevenfold?
If all of them left. Yeah.
Or
I mean,
even if just one left?
that's
yeah.
adding a sort of cultural component to it, in which it's a content that they're producing that could change drastically. Like the ship is still gonna sail, like the same exact thing, but then like that's a very objective viewing of this problem is the ship. A very more subjective viewing of it, in the case of it being a band, is like, okay, so how do you identify a band? Is it their creative styles, their mindset, or is it just their ability to play an instrument this well,
Which
or
I was.
sing this way, or sound this good? So
Yeah.
I would
Is
say
it the
no,
music?
that band is not the same band.
Yeah.
I could think of it like this. You could correlate it to, like, I think of like Broadway or something. Like, for example, you say Hamilton as a play. There was like a point in time where all the original cast members are in Hamilton, but then it's little by
Yeah.
little, like we're saying, some cast members leave. And then like now, it's almost entirely not original people, but they're still there telling the story of Hamilton and they still got the same components. Like,
Yeah.
So
I guess
that's
if you enjoy it at the end of the day, it's probably the same thing to you.
yeah, that's different from
if it
the
bothers
band
you.
problem, I think, because they're going from a script, right, as opposed to producing new content.
They still have to perform it though. It's not the
Yeah,
same.
there's some
Yeah.
differences. For
But
sure.
no, so like you were saying, like every member got replaced, and then they put out what was your favorite music by that band so far.
Okay.
So you're enjoying the creative like process and productions of the new version of that band more than you
Yeah.
were the previous ones, because in their mind they're creating content, or not in their mind, but their minds are different, so they're creating better music.
Mhm.
Whereas
I mean,
with the play,
it's
you're
still
you're
kind
not
of the same to me.
producing a new script that like adds to the plot or whatever. You're just the same actors acting out.
The same
same
scene, the
lines.
same music, the same songs.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there's some variation in cast, but the idea is that there's not with any major production.
Yeah, it's. I wonder if you could tie it to the ship with like like the same crew sails it or something, or it still delivers the same spices. So that's almost like the music in a weird way,
Yeah.
or it delivers different things. Is that like it creates a sort of product, and then that like guys, I guess there's the physical what the ship is, and then humans' conception of what that ship is by like virtue of what it does and who's aboard it and stuff.
Exactly. That's
So, like a more morbid way of thinking about it would be like having slave ships and then transferring that into a merchant ship. Is it
Right.
still a slave ship?
Right, and
That's a
people,
good
yeah,
Well, I mean, the ship itself is the same, but like
historically a slave
The
ship.
ship is,
purpose is
but
different.
the
But the
its
the haunting
responsibilities are
reality of
completely
what
different.
it did. Yeah, I get the haunting reality of what it did is still there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's totally up to you. But
I think they've turned literal prisons into schools before. So,
for sure.
but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
So what I wanted to go off of David's
Schools look
point
like
though, because he
prisons.
said something.
That's
he said
facts.
something.
like,
Yeah. Okay.
Damn.
Well, I mean that was a layup. But David said something really important in that I think the answer is like yes and no. So physically, atomically, yes, because I think the first thing you said was like the metaphysical problem of identity or whatever when you were reading the Wikipedia.
mhm.
So the actual physical, like if you talk about atoms in the universe, ship is not the same. But when we think of a ship, like people put that together, people sailed on it, people did things with it, people repaired that. It's in the minds of the people who interacted with that ship, still the same exact ship, because the literal physical atoms in the planks don't matter nearly as much as like the interactions that take place on the ship or due to the ship, or the memories you have of it or on it or whatever. So in psychologically in humans' minds, yes, it's the same ship. Physically, no, it's not.
But what if they make improvements to it while they repair it?
Yeah.
That's
Like
if-
that's
like
slightly
playing-
outside the
if you-
problem, but
I-
so
But I mean, that's like the
so
fun
I mean
of
we
these
can
things, is,
just
like,
establish
moving
that
on.
as that like you can add that, yeah.
Well, I guess in more modern terms, it's like restoring like an old car. Like if I have a 1971 Chevelle, maybe I have to like reupholster the seats, or like flush out a dent or something, or like repaint the thing. Like it's still a 1971 Chevelle. It's just not original. Like it's not entirely original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off Cameron's comments. What if the people who made the ship, who had memories of the ship, they all died? There's no memory of the ship at all, and it was like it went shipwreck and went to the bottom of the ocean, and no one knows what it is. Again, everyone who died, everyone who built the ship is all dead. No memories of it at all, and then someone finds it at the bottom of the ocean and they repair it. Is it the same ship, even though no one knows what it is?
Yes.
So I'm going to perfect your hypothetical. So the day they finish replacing the last of the original planks, everyone who has ever interacted with the ship goes out on it and they all die in a shipwreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then no,
That's
it's not the
interesting.
same ship.
I agree. I think then it ceases to be the same
Because
ship
then it
entirely.
because then it sits at the bottom of the ocean until someone discovers it and does an archaeological dig, and then it has nothing to do with it. Then the way it is perceived by people is completely different.
But okay,
But it's still the same ship.
it's still the same. Yeah, it's the exact same materials though. So it
No,
is.
but physically it's not, and now mentally it's not either.
Yes, it is. That's what like that
So-
was the problem that he said was that you just
You just got
salvage
done
So
what's
let me
there.
let me.
Replace it. Oh, no, let me. Or what?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I think you know what I'm gonna say. So
Well, yeah, he was saying that you just got done replacing every single like atom of the ship, so it's physically not the same ship, and then everyone dies who's ever known of it. So now, in people's minds, it's not this like there's no conception of the ship as the same ship either,
as
which is
it
kind of what we're
once-
going
as it
off
first
before.
existed.
Yeah, so it's like I think. Oh, go ahead.
So is identity based on how others perceive you?
Partially, I think. I think it is like yourself. It's physical stuff, and then I was gonna say like yeah, people's perception of things kind of shapes what it is. Even in real life, like people would treat the ship differently if they knew its history, maybe, or if they didn't, right? Like it could
Yeah.
affect what happens to the ship, even.
So you're actually transitioning directly into what we were going to get into next, which is that a ship, you said, so is reality or identity based off of others' perceptions of you. In that case, yes, because it's a ship, and a ship cannot conceptualize of itself. But if we're talking about people, if you're replacing every part of a person, then what do we get there? So we were talking about cloning and teleportation basically go hand in hand there, where if you made a perfect clone of someone with a full scan of their brain and a full download of their memories, like, would you end up with the same personality? Could you call that yourself? Could you call that your consciousness? Or in the case of teleportation, the idea is that you would be fully broken down to an atomic level in one place, and then either the material that made up you travels at a ridiculously high speed because it is so small it can travel at a ridiculously high speed, close to the speed of light, to another place, and then those atoms are literally rebuilt. Or if, like, the technology advances so far that you're able to be broken down atomically, and in doing so you get every single piece of data in your atomic code written down, transferred to somewhere else, and then they from scratch, with whatever soup of atoms they have, rebuild you from scratch perfectly. Are you still the same person? And so I just did a lot there, so I'm going to let you guys break that down.
Cloning thing, it's not the same person. I want to say it's not the same personality because
So you're asking about clones.
yeah, that part. But what makes
Wait. So can we restate the question?
If a clone was made of you, would it have the
We'll
same
do one then.
personality? That was the clone
Alright.
question.
I would say no.
I would say no as well.
Because
no.
what makes you what makes your personality? It's your
It's your
experiences
exactly. Yeah.
and your memories.
yeah.
Mhm.
All of those
Exactly.
things what makes the way you are. So if an exact clone, atom by atom, DNA by DNA, but they're missing all your experiences and all your memories. It's
What if-
just
Yeah.
What
If
if they're
someone
not?
if
Or
someone
even-
like what if they're
even-
not?
What if they're not? What
Even,
if they
like,
can
even
clone your
taking away
brain
all
so
that.
perfectly that they have all of your memories?
And
experiences.
They still wouldn't have. It's still
even with all of that.
Go ahead,
Even
Alex.
with all that, based on the physiological, as soon as you introduce another clone, another living system, you got to realize every body's body functions uniquely different. So once you introduce two of the same, they like split. So now you have one body carrying out different processes as another, and it adapts based on its environment. And we know that the body's environment can change spontaneously no matter what. So now you have two. It splits off, it diverges.
Mhm.
You could have two functions going on at once. It's no longer the same. Like something like cancer, for example, can be completely spontaneous in the body. Like a tumor could just grow spontaneously. So with that example, anything now it's changing and it's diverting itself away from the identical perspective once it's exposed
So-
to a new environment.
Yeah.
So essentially,
I
then it
think-
would be like a exponential function in which, like, at the immediate time in which the clone is born, for lack of a better term, you are like the exact same person and have the same personality. But then, on like an exponential increase, once your paths separate and you begin experiencing different things, then obviously, I would say yes, you slowly and then increasingly fast become a different person because you're experiencing drastically different things. I mean, it would depend. Like if you were literally attached at the hip, then that process would be slower, because hypothetically, if you had, I mean, we're all in our 20s now, I believe. Alex is 20 yet? Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know how old you are. I'm trolling, honestly. Honestly. But so by now we've all developed our own like pretty significantly cemented perception of the world and way in which we wish to go about our lives. Obviously, the human brain doesn't finish developing until you're 25. Massive life events can massively change the way you perceive things and events and people and family members and who you can and can't trust. Obviously, those are very important for interacting with the world. So if you're attached at the hip with your, in my case, 22-year-old clone, and you're not experiencing very different things, then you would probably maintain about exactly the same personality.
But are they the same person? Or are they two different people?
I would consider them two different people.
Yeah, right. Because I think they're two. I think they're two different people.
But then if you,
I agree with.
Just to finish, and so you can have your piece, David. Sorry. The one thing Alex said was like tragic life events where you like get cancer or something, which is completely unpredictable. And assuming they have like the same genetic history as you, they could also have a certain set of diseases, whatever. So, yeah, then you would become drastically different people because, you know, going through cancer definitely gives you a different look in the world as opposed to not having gone through cancer. So, yes, that's my with a bow on top.
Yeah, so I think that one's kind of easy. Well, I mean, to me, it's more simple because it's just like a separate thing. And I think going off what you were saying, like the moment the clone is born, it's like they have the experience of waking up in a tube in a lab or whatever that you don't have. So then even then it would start. Yeah, I
mean, yeah,
probably. So, I think.
Well, okay. But right before I was going off of that they don't have any trauma or any like you know mental health problems with the fact that they are the clone of another human. Like I was just going off of like, because then you sort of lump in a whole load of mental disorders of like what is my identity as a clone as opposed to whatever. But yeah, so right, sorry. So I was going off of without that being a factor. But go ahead.
It's like Doodle Bob.
It is exactly
like Doodle Bob.
So true. But then, so teleportation is scary to me. Would you do teleportation like early on or ever? Because we don't know how it would work.
Well,
What do you mean early on?
I mean, with current theory,
Would you be an early adopter of teleportation?
Actually, just in general. Yeah.
I mean, it depends. Currently, the way science says it is right now, you actually have to destroy your body and atomize it and then move it to a different place and then reconstruct it.
Which is impossible.
That's essentially, to me, that's essentially death.
All right.
So the new person,
It's
the
like
new
a suspension
reconstructed
of life.
atoms.
I don't necessarily equate it to death, but
It comes down to the fact that we don't really like. I would say no, not an early adopter, and definitely no. I don't think ever, unless like I had to, I guess.
Yeah.
But, because there's no way of proving. I mean, they could maybe try to do this studies and stuff. I mean, if science is so advanced that we can literally teleport people like that, then they can do full brain scans and stuff. But there's really no way of proving exactly where consciousness comes from, and where your sense of self and awareness. I mean, you are your brain, obviously, and we're piloting a skeleton and the giant bag of meat. So, but everything that is you is up top. So
that's great. But what does that have to do with teleportation?
Because you would possibly lose the like sort of flame of consciousness of you go from being like if consciousness is not an atomic thing, if there's something that we don't understand about the universe that the consciousness of life comes from something that is not an atom. That cannot be perceived by current science, or even by science when we develop teleportation. I don't think that's enough of a guarantee that they would bring all of me with when they rebuild.
Yeah, that you'll come back as the same person.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
Same personality, same memories.
No, like I even think it would be possible to come back with the exact same personality and memories, but then also leave something else behind. Something
Like,
imperceptible, like the lights are on but no one's home kind of a thing, where it's like like everyone that talks to you thinks you're the exact same person, but somehow that light that made you has gone out. And it's like imperceptible. You act no different, you behave no different, you still make memories, you still do all this stuff, but you're possible like actual astral consciousness. I'm not a fucking I'm not an astrology guy, I'm not a big religion guy, but I do know that there's a lot we don't fucking know about the universe, and I am not ready to fuck with it. So hands off, basically, from me.
I think that's a very complicated way to think about teleportation. I don't know.
But that's what you would have to think about, though. That's the issue. Like, would you just do it without thinking? Because you might just die and cease to exist.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that was
suppose,
part of
but
the
like,
part of the prompt, though. Like if it was refined, would you do it? Like that was the original question.
Yeah, if it's
Right,
100% guaranteed like survival rate, like people are coming out the other side and acting the same. They have no memory problems, like anything. They're like studies have been done 50 years down the line. There's no increased Alzheimer's, dementia, like no cancer, like no one's getting fucked up because of teleportation. I'm still saying no.
What?
I agree.
But I mean, like in a scenario where like it becomes, you could say, just for the purpose of establishing, like it's become a part of public transportation or something, like Japan, just how like they established, oh, we have bullet trains. Imagine if they said, well, now we're going to introduce teleporters and you can teleport, and like that's the new technology. I mean, if it was like something that was like tested and done, I would see no problem. Why not? I think it'd be dope if I could go see my cousin. I'd be like, hey, I can pop up in Jersey in 2 seconds.
Yeah, if you just apparated.
Basically.
Evaporated.
I just went across the country in like in 0.1 second.
Diagonally.
Hey, what's up?
I mean, if teleportation
Diagonally.
became that available at that point, then you would have no choice but to take it.
Yeah, which I would kind of be scared of. It's like, are people just dying all the time and new people being born? I mean, I don't know.
It's the
weird
same idea of uploading your consciousness electronically. There's a whole Black Mirror episode about that. About like you die, your physical body dies, but they upload your consciousness. Like you still have all your same memories and experiences and personality and everything, but is that actually you?
There's a
Are
whole
you considered a person at that point?
Did you actually die and go somewhere else or go nowhere, or you're just like your actual consciousness isn't just in darkness, but there's a copy of you living on a server somewhere that you have no actual connection to.
Yeah.
There's a whole Big Bang Theory episode about how Sheldon changes his diet so that he can live longer, so that he can do that, and he maps out the entire.
I remember that actually. That he
forget what he calls it, but
yeah, he purposefully is like, okay, I need to live just this long so that I can live until the technology is developed to upload my brain to the internet.
Called?
That's transhumanism.
No, that's not what he calls it in the show, though. Fuck it. It's gonna bother me.
Which is funny because there's a real billionaire doing that, I believe, is sort of investing in technology because he believes we're within reach of eternal life through that. So there's an actual guy doing that right now. It's funny.
I would definitely give that a shot because at that point I have nothing to lose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, you have your time to lose.
I mean, if I'm literally about to die to old age and I'm like, okay, you can definitely die or whatever, or you can maybe copy your consciousness and maybe it's you, like then I'd, take the shot. Because then even that's cool, even if you do, go dark.
If it doesn't work, then you just like don't accept the fact that you're about to die.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't fucking matter at that point to me.
Like you'd just be betting on a chance, and then it doesn't work, and then you just die miserably because you never got to fulfill your work.
But
instead, you could just be like, okay, I'm fine with dying. Like that's just the way.
I mean, you wouldn't fucking know. You're dead, so.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know
guess
that
it would
you
be-
failed. 'cause
At
you'd
least
be
I died
fucking dead.
content.
So either way,
True. It would be healthier, I guess, mentally healthier. Just be like, well, death is here. Let's
I mean,
get
if
it,
you-
boy.
if
The
you-
singularity. That's what he calls it.
Oh yeah.
oh
My man looked it up.
I did. That shit was gonna drive me insane.
yeah, that always happens with you.
Yeah. Dang. I don't know.
Alright, fuck all that. Are you guys willing to kill 10 people to save one person?
Yes.
No.
Are you actually?
Well, all right.
Yes.
When I immediately
I
I
saw
am
this,
too.
Let's. Okay. What situation? What scenario?
If
okay,
Rocio is in danger and there's 10 people in front of her that I have to kill to save her, I am killing those 10 people.
Okay,
Fair,
but
fair
here's the
enough.
thing.
I think it's
What
more the
if-
train track problem. Not
Go
like,
ahead,
not
Brian.
like,
Well, I'm personalizing it.
not
I've
okay.
seen it.
Well, you can personalize it. I mean, I think that's a decision that literally anyone would make. Is like, okay,
No.
would you,
No.
if you're,
No.
you really,
No one would do that.
okay, I mean,
Like 10% of the population would do
if
that.
10, if
No,
10
I would say
you
most
think
people
if-
would, but
you think
I
if 10
wouldn't.
people kidnapped your like most loved one and you had to kill
Okay.
them rather
You're
than
changing the
just, like,
scenario.
That's what you were
different, though.
saying. I
That's-
thought.
No. That's
You're
very
killing
different.
people that deserve to die at that point.
Trevor
Yeah,
is
that's what I
saying.
thought you were
Trevor is saying if
That's
there's.
not what we're saying.
Trevor's
Okay.
saying if there's a line of people, like innocent people, who he has to just
Okay.
kill in order to save Rocio. Yeah, that's the. Yeah, like the John. Well, not John Wick, but yeah, like an action movie or whatever. Yeah, if I could, I'd like
Yeah, that's
kill the captors heroically.
that's justified. Yeah, what I'm doing is totally not justified at all.
right.
Okay.
nah, but like when I saw it, I immediately thought of like an apocalypse scenario. Say it's like the Doomsday. We're a clan. It's just us, like the Unboxing Life boys, and we gotta survive or something. And
Mhm.
say like my man David. Say it's just the start of apocalypse, and then say there's 10 people that need to be saved, or it's David that needs to be saved, and like I'm the only one that can save him. Say I got the car to pick him up. I'm gonna pick up David.
I'm picking
'cause that's
David
my
up,
boy.
yeah.
I'm picking David
Yeah.
up.
I don't give a fuck about the other
Those
people.
10 people.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm picking up David.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like David would do the same. I
David
don't
would
know.
not do the same for us. No.
I don't
Why?
know.
Why do you still? Well,
Because he
because I
say
already.
10 is better than 1, then drive to them. And leave me. I mean,
The needs of the many
Okay,
outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Yeah.
but
What about-
in an apocalypse situation, my boys come first. That's what I'll say.
okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
get that.
facts. That's big facts. Because at that point, it's a free for all. So
Well, yeah, that kind of changes it because, like, who do you trust with
Yeah,
your,
no,
like,
it
you can
changes.
trust the people around you and stuff.
it changes.
It changes.
What were you saying,
be-
Brian?
I'll be
What about-
damned if you don't save us.
What about this scenario?
Motherfucker.
The one person you have to save versus the 10 people you have to kill. That one person is a scientist, and he has the secret
I'm
to
saving the scientist.
no
Already.
panacea. The cure all. He cure all diseases, all cancers, everything.
Oh, yeah.
And
At that point, you're not killing. You're at
Let
in
him
that,
finish his hypothetical.
Well,
it's hypothetical.
we know what he's gonna
And
say.
one of the
We know what he's
you
gonna
have to
say.
save him or kill the 10 people, and one of those 10 people is Trevor, your girlfriend.
Oh,
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
fucked up. And that's
Yeah,
fucked up.
that's why I wanted to let him
Would you
finish. I knew that was
kill-
going to be good.
You kill all those people to save the salvation of humanity.
or would you even just kill like?
This is so The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's not even fucking funny.
Don't spoil
Spoilers,
it, yeah.
thanks.
But yeah, would you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What would you do?
Or say half those people were
If
us,
what Alex?
all
What
of
did you
us.
say?
No, it's just
I said
It's
like
just-
if half
no,
of
just-
10 people
no,
was just
no,
like all the
just
people you
Trevor's
knew, like us.
Oh,
Came
damn.
through,
I like
garbage
Alex's
on
scenario
both
more
ends.
because it makes me feel like less of a piece of shit. But I'm,
Yeah.
dude, like I don't want to find new friends, man.
Yeah, no.
Those 10 people are going to want to give you a hug, I bet.
If Trevor was making the choice between me or some scientist, I would say frick the future generations I want to live.
And that's so fucked beyond all recognition.
it
Like,
is,
It's
but
it so is. It's like it's
it's
almost
just my
like
own
you
human
can
selfishness, but
you can literally draw
Yeah.
that point to like rolling back emission standards and like fucking the planet over for $1. Like that. Oh, we're not gonna live to see that damage, so let's do it now. Like that's the same thing.
yeah.
I just want to paint a scenario in which Trevor's at Brian's hypothetical of the doctor with the cure all, and then one of the 10 is Rocio, and he's like, he's there at the tracks, and he's like, well, doctor probably wrote it down somewhere. Flip switch, and, like runs the doctor
facts,
over.
facts.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
If
that's
he
a good
came up
point,
with
'cause
it,
then
someone else
you'd have
probably
me.
can.
I could figure it out. Well, why not one of us could figure it out?
I guess
No, that's too easy.
it's
No,
too
no.
easy.
Too
Yeah.
easy. He's the only one who knows. It's in his mind. He didn't write it down. Nothing.
He's a fucking idiot.
He just discovered it,
Yeah.
You
and
can't
now he was captured. Now he's in
and not
danger.
write it down. Like,
But what if he
It's
said
outside
that?
the-
What if he like just said that to save himself? Like he really doesn't have it, but he.
No, this
he
is
definitely
off the
has it.
rails
He
as
definitely
fuck.
has the
Right there.
answer.
Yeah. Then you kill him too.
I mean,
yeah, you kill the other
there's
people
no
and
point.
There's
There's no point to the whole fucking problem.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But he's lying, but you know that he's lying. Do you kill him?
What if
It's like,
you
yes,
don't know
kill
he's
that guy.
lying? What if there's a chance that he is and a chance that he isn't?
That's a better thing. That's like a. I mean, well,
If there's a
we already,
chance,
we already
I'm
made the decision to kill a
100%.
doctor, but
if there's a chance that he's lying, then I'm 100% going with the other group. But
No, he's telling the truth in this scenario.
If he's telling the truth, I feel like it's one of those things where I would like to say objectively that I should save him, and maybe I would hope to do that, but like in real life, it would be like the hardest possible thing to kill people you know.
you save the doctor, but then it turns out he's a dirty capitalist, and he sells the cure-all for $1 million a pop, and you
All right,
killed your
but
loved
we-
ones for no reason.
All right, fine. He sells it for $10 a pop.
Gives it out for free.
I would say that you just make him a billionaire and that he can afford to distribute it himself or whatever for free. But yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
it's rough.
I was just
Whatever
making a
makes
joke. That's like a completely unnecessary fucking caveat there. That was like bullshit. I was just making a joke.
All right.
distribute.
Yeah.
So what would you do? Would you save him and kill 10 people, or just save the 10 people and doom humanity?
I'll save him. I gotta go with it. Save the scientist.
Fuck the scientist, man.
And that's
I
so
would only
true.
save
That's
the
so true.
scientists
You would
if
do
they're
it.
all random.
No,
All the
it's,
10 people are random that save the scientist. If
it's
they're
a
not
loved one in
random,
this scenario.
what?
It's a loved one in this scenario.
If it's a loved one, then freak the scientist.
Yeah, I couldn't.
That's fucked. That's such a fucked scenario. It's crazy.
I mean, if I had
Isn't
the
this
time
fun?
to think about it, like I don't know if in the moment, like if you give me 10 seconds to decide, I don't know if I would.
You have an hour
If,
to decide.
if it
But if I so thinking about it now, the decision I would probably make would be like that. If he can come up with it, someone else probably can, and
Yeah.
and I can't fucking mentally deal with like I only get one life as well. Like I'm not gonna mentally ruin myself by murdering one of my parents or something like that at like the age of
But,
22
okay.
or something.
okay, so you can't live with that, but you can live with dooming all future generations.
Well, because with the caveat that like if he did
There's no
it, someone
caveat.
else probably can.
There's no caveat, and we want to. That's what we're
No, I
answering.
mean the
is that
logic
no
the
caveat.
logic would be that if he did it, someone else probably could.
No,
He's the only one
we
who has
don't
it.
want you to twist the
You
scenario
can't-
like that.
Yeah.
But
That's
would
why
it
this is
technically
fun.
be dooming?
Nah,
would
fuck
it
'em.
technically be dooming future generations? or would it be,
If
like
it's-
just they live on like we live on to like this. Nothing changes. It's just the same society.
Personally, I would kill him to save the 10 people.
Dang.
yeah, I was gonna
because-
say if it's whatever.
Because when you think about it, population control. One of the reasons why, one of the most common causes of death is disease. So if there's no disease and there's overpopulation, there'll be no resources. They'll be all exhausted. Wars will be fought for fresh water.
What
There's
a
no
heartless
food.
answer. Dang.
The
That's
realist answer. No, I see that.
It's the
So-
Dwight
so
Dwight Schrute
cool.
answer.
Yeah,
We need
Dwight
another-
Schrute.
We need
You know what?
another
You
plague.
turned one of your like on the surface level typical Brian answers into something that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I get it. I would be hopeful and I'd be like, okay, we can diseases populate other planets and overpopulation won't be a big deal. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
How about there's no chance of
For frick's sake.
going to
Alright, yeah, we're
colonizing other planets?
I
yeah,
mean,
we're
I
gonna have
mean-
to move on.
Yeah, there's already going to be wars over fresh water because of climate change. So it's,
if the
Anyway.
cure to everything is always free, and like we never run out of it, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't.
We are
you-
introducing so many conditions to this.
Yeah, I think I can
Like,
leave it where
this
it is.
isn't-
But I was gonna say
Very
like
cool.
if it like eviscerates the medical profession entirely, that'd be crazy.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, you guys should be
I can have a
out
job.
of job.
that's crazy.
Oof.
Yeah.
That would
Think
it
about your
would
job.
destroy the economy, honestly,
Yeah.
Think
especially in the
about
U.S.
your career.
All right.
Yeah, but economy also gets destroyed by people getting sick. But yeah. All right.
All right, so on to our second to last topic that we have: moral relativism. Is morality universal or shaped by culture and society? I think this is a clear-cut answer, but I'll let you guys go.
Well, go ahead, clear cut, man.
All right, clear-cut, brother.
I actually
No,
want to
I-
hear
like,
yours
I-
first. Yeah, if you're so
immediate-
sure about it.
I immediately thought of sexualizing underage women, and Japan, like in Japan, that's
Yeah.
normal. Like in anime, it's like all across the board. Like pretty
Right.
much every anime has some innuendo to a 13-year-old. So to us, that's completely fucked up. And shows over here don't do that. We don't tolerate that shit. So yeah, I think it is shaped by culture and society. I don't think it's universal.
I think
We
that's
don't
like a
all hold
very-
the same value. We don't all hold the same values.
I
But
think that's
it's-
very specific to that in the way if like we're talking about morality as like an inherent good and bad, is
Mhm.
that universal? Which I think
Which-
could be, which I think is universal in that aspect.
We doing French
Yeah.
philosophers. We doing is man inherently good or inherently bad?
Nah, frick that. And man is inherently neutral, but
Okay.
I would
But-
agree with you, but that's a different
said-
topic for
I-
another time.
Yeah. Let's leave what I just brought in where it was,
Out of it.
and
Okay,
and,
okay.
go back to the main thing because we're doing too
yeah,
much.
I think
specifically me.
so. With Trevor's example, that's for me. That's an example to actually point to morality having objectivity and it being objective, actually, because there's just different ways you can look at it. I guess I think some morality is just up to culture, and in that way, it is actually subjective entirely. But I think some, like, even if a culture views something differently, in very very extreme cases like that, or something else, or whatever you want to take out, like, I think it's still like that culture needs to cure an ill within itself, and which could be said of any culture has some messed up stuff in it. So it's like I think it's still wrong no matter if the people see it as wrong or not, I guess, because I think objectively, I think you can logic it out as to why it's wrong, and then you could explain that to anyone. And
Good luck trying to
That's
convert
right.
an entire country, though.
I'm not saying you could, but
That's a
I'm saying
perfect
it would
world.
still be wrong.
That's
Yeah.
a perfect world in which morality could possibly exist objectively. The fact of the matter is, if someone who has like 5 wives and beats them regularly, like, you explain to
They
him,
think
like,
that's fine.
listen, like, you probably should respect women, and he's like, respect women, like, that's like,
Yeah,
I mean, I
And they
don't
come
know.
from a culture where that's completely normal.
yeah. I
That's-
think
that's the idea, is like, in a perfect world, yes, you could show someone, hey, listen, this is the world when you when you don't abuse the people around you, and it's all well and good and everyone's happy, everyone's like equally happy, and you're exactly as happy as you were, but the people that you were previously abusing are also happy. Like, ideally you could explain that to someone, but our cultures are so like fucking pounded into our minds and existent in the way we operate and from a day-to-day basis that it's just it would be impossible to actually like convince someone of objective morality that has like such a subjective such a subjectively different experience in life than you have up to this point.
And I think that's fun. I think that's true too. But I think objective morality still exists, because I think part of it being objective means it exists independent of people's perceptions, right? Like subjective perceptions. Like, I agree, it's not a perfect world. You can't just explain, and a lot of people are just going to say, well, I don't care about morality. But if they do that, then you can say they are immoral, and I think that's still completely like that is the just like that's the correct thing to say. Like you can't just say, oh well, you know, he raped and killed that person. I guess that's all right. Like that's the thing. Like think of like if someone just kills a family member of yours and it's in their culture because they're like a peasant or something, and it's fine. It's like that is across the board still going to cause pain to their loved ones, and it's still going to take away that person's entire lifetime ahead of them and all their possibilities. Like that's still absolutely going to happen, whether the king, who executed them cares about it or not. I guess.
So I think we just
definition.
Agree. Actually, sorry,
Well,
I wanted to say I don't think you contradicted me there. I think you were getting back to just the base thing. Is that like I agree with you that objective morality exists. I think what I was trying to say is that it'd be impossible to convince everyone of that. I guess in the long run.
I agree. Yeah,
I think the idea of universal morality is right on the money, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because
What do you mean by
if
that?
you do a deep dive in every societal
not.
values, they have some concept of what's good and what's bad, but it's the perception of different cultures that could view on, like Trevor was saying, on other moralities. Like we still have, as a United States culture, we have this concept of good and bad. In Japan, they have the concept of good and bad, but that's morality in terms of defined, like in its definition. But when you compare them, we could say we don't agree with that, or they don't agree with this. But that's still morality. We just have different perceptions of what that means. So morality itself is universal. It's just at different degrees for everybody, I would say.
Yeah, like all human cultures develop some sort of morality, even if it's different. I think that's probably true too.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. So, and does that
define the world?
Yeah, does
Yeah, I
that
was gonna
mean
say, I think
then?
that just
That's literally like our world right now.
So then, does that mean that a real thing outside of humanity that you can call morality exists regardless? Because if every human culture says, yeah, there is such a thing as right and wrong, even if it's different what they say, to me that also points out that not only is it universally known of, but there's some sort of objective thing that exists independent of humans.
Well, hypothetically, on the planet, we're really the only one with observable morals. We're really the only, there's some primates where it's arguable, but it's mainly that we do certain things that don't necessarily benefit us or that could be against our interest, and we're going to get back to altruism again somehow.
No.
Hey. That's good.
So we're the only species on the planet, the only living beings on the planet that will do things because what is the I don't know, that's a separate JFK quote. There's some quote about doing the right thing doing the right thing even though it's hard, as opposed to the easy thing, which is wrong.
Yeah,
we're the only living things with a concept of that. And so then what Alex said is that, every culture develops their own version of right and wrong, but it's a uniquely human thing. So
Brian, how do you feel about
it,
this?
I guess.
I haven't heard your beautiful voice.
Well,
Yeah, flaunt your chest prison. Or your lack of one.
your free chest, yes.
my
Yeah,
chest
the
is
intro.
pretty.
Call back.
I mean, let's look at murder.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any morally right? I mean, there are multiple cultures where murder is not morally right or just okay. Meanwhile, like the Aztecs, they sacrifice people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that more?
So
under their eyes, is that a good thing?
Aztecs.
Did their gods approve that? Did society approve that? Does everyone else who saw them think that was a good idea?
I
or
can
no?
answer that pretty explicitly, actually. The Aztecs sacrificed people exclusively because they thought they needed to do it to continue existing. They would sacrifice people to the gods because they thought the gods needed blood sacrifices to be happy and to not take their world away from them.
So it's morally good.
So it is. There's. I don't know that there is anything
Well-
because religion is one of the hardest things to fully determine when you look at a culture archaeologically. It's actually mostly Spanish writings from when they first came over and right before they wiped them out. And so they thought that it was, in order for the sun to keep coming up every day, they had to keep killing people in a semi-regular basis. And I don't. What I was going to say is I don't know if it was considered an honor to be sacrificed or anything like that. Like how you see in cults and that kind of thing, where you're like, oh, I want to die for the god or whatever, and it's an honor to be the sacrifice or something like that. I don't know if that was the case or not, but they definitely did it because they thought they needed to.
Well, then at that point, is it even murder? When I think of murder, I think of like cold-blooded, no reason killing. That's like completely not justifiable.
Yeah, but it's not all. It's like murder can be
quite literally different degrees of murder. The
Yeah.
penal system.
Murder
literally
is not
defines
always
degrees of
cold-blooded.
Murder. Yeah.
Murder is not always cold-blooded. Like
Sure.
if you slam into someone on the road and they're like
so
jaywalking
we're defining murder
as someone dying. Like
It's like an unjustified killing of someone. Yeah, like it's in fact it's usually hot blooded. It's usually like in the heat of the moment.
hot-blooded. You know what I mean? Cold-blooded.
No, I'm saying like it's usually not cold.
Here's the cold and hot take shit all over again.
No,
That wasn't on podcast. I
Nah,
don't think.
yeah, well.
but
Well, I mean, if someone busts into my house and I shoot them, I didn't murder
That's
them. I
self-defense,
defended
though, yeah.
them.
No, but
yeah,
you,
that's
Spoken
You
like a
killed
true
them.
Floridian.
I killed them, but I didn't murder them.
that's why I said murder is the unjustified killing of another person.
Okay,
So,
that's what I wanted to make
yeah.
sure. So then, and like in Aztec scenario, is it considered murder? Because if someone is agreeing to be sacrificed, or if they think that they need sacrifice to survive, that's literally their belief.
yeah.
Is it killing for no reason, or that's what they thought?
I think the thing is like they wouldn't consider it a bad thing, I guess, or like murder or like unjustified, and we would. But I mean you can make the argument though that it's just like well we're right because we know you don't have to sacrifice a person on an altar or what have you to keep the sun rising, right?
Yep.
I think maybe people would take issue with that, but I feel like we could just I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's that's the thing is that we know that it was something that they felt that they had to do, that the ruling elite was, because the Aztecs are, they were a really big society. They had massive cities of a few thousand people, and
they were big boys.
I think Tenochtitlan is like.
I think they had a city named "See Plays Literally Kill Yourself."
Oh my god!
Okay.
That's a old ass Civ 6 callback. Shout out Jeremy.
Oh man,
Thanks for listening.
Shout out to Jeremy.
that's funny.
Yeah, man.
T-Blaze.
So I mean, the city of Mexico City is built on top of Tenochtitlan, which was their capital. So they had massive cities. They were an incredible civilization. All this, and the thing we don't know is like, okay, where the sacrifice is coming from. Like, is this because there's a lot of stratification. So there's rich, super elite ruling class. That's also the religious class. And then you have mid-tier, like more people close to the government, but that work jobs, but not. And then you have everyone farming. And so the question then becomes like, where the sacrifice is coming from? Is it like they're dragging farm boys from like the outskirts of town up to the altar to slit their throats, and their mother is like screaming for them to be spared, or is the mother like, oh, it's such an honor for him to be offered to the sun today? Like, we don't know. There's no way of knowing. So it's very, very, very confusing when you try to look at human sacrifice and try to justify it in terms of cultural perspective.
Yeah, I would argue it's probably not as bad if someone is like, of course, like willingly doing it, and everyone's but it's still, yeah. Dang.
I just immediately thought of I thought of like the whole problem of people wanting their plugs to be pulled.
Yeah.
And how like certain people can't like they can't deal with that problem, so they don't, and they end up causing that loved one to suffer more than they should, even though the loved one wants to die.
Yeah, that's yeah. What do you guys think of medical suicide then? Like, prematurely,
Absolutely.
Doesn't
all
that
for it.
exist in Japan?
I guess
Massachusetts signed it into law, I think, like 8 years ago.
I want to say that's like the norm in Japan. I could be wrong.
I am absolutely all for that. Like, if I am like literally, I cannot control my shitting or my peeing, and I'm like, I can't walk, I can barely talk, I'm in pain constantly, and I want to die. That's my choice.
Yeah.
I think that's fully up to
of
them.
course. If there's zero value left in life, like if you can barely have a conversation with loved ones and you got nothing left to say to them, and you're just gonna like piss and shit yourself to death over the next like 6 months or whatever,
no.
fucking
Kill me.
Yeah,
I'm
kill
done.
me. I'm done. We're out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because as a kid I was like against it, but now I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it should be allowed if the person is of
I definitely
sound
see
enough mind
scenarios
and
like
everything.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Would you have a problem doing it, Brian? Because you're a nurse. I don't know. Maybe you'd be involved in the process. Would that be weird to you?
Not at all.
I wouldn't have a problem
either.
either, honestly.
There's no life left. You're in constant pain. You can't do anything about it. Well, go ahead. Euthanasia.
You got to understand that these nurses and doctors and all these medical personnel are so
Like kids in Taiwan.
almost desensitized.
Shut the frick out, Trevor.
Wait, what?
He's quoting a dumbass Eminem line that goes, "I'm talking euthanasia like kids in Taiwan."
That is a banger.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
That's awful.
You know
You
that
music
song?
to be murdered by. I don't know which song it is, but
It's called Stepdad.
Stepdad. Yeah, that
that
song
was
is
your song track of the
Garbo,
week at
Garbo.
one point.
No.
I'm kidding. Gap.
Did you know
I'm
that song's
kidding, I'm
produced by Alchemist, Trevor?
All right, dude.
It is.
Hey, you know
I
what's
know.
funny is that I love that beat too.
Oh yeah, it's not a
Jesus
bad
Christ.
beat. It's just like
I enjoy the song a lot, but you hate
what?
it.
Oh dang, I didn't know you enjoyed it.
Every time it comes on, I'm just like, it's an actual fun song.
Well,
I get it, I guess.
It's not cringe.
That chorus. I hate my.
Okay.
Nah,
Well,
he killed
Now that we've done that,
thank you for absolutely derailing all physical.
punching the conversation in the
philosophical
side of the head.
conversation.
Detroiting.
It's fine. It's fine. We do this.
Yeah, we did. No, I'm kidding. We're unboxing.
That's like the-
it's
And now
half the
for
value of
something
this
completely different.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of I think the God question has a lot to do with morality because if there is an omnipotent, all-knowing and like all-benevolent God, that sort of presupposes an existence of objective morality, especially if he's the one deciding or that entity is the one deciding it. I mean, you could
say
have
that he's
objective
playing
morality with
God.
that. He is playing God by actually being God.
He's
So
playing God by Paramore.
Okay. So
Okay.
do we want to read the prompt outright?
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
So this is the trilemma, the problem of evil. There are three, obviously, because it's a trilemma. There are three conditions.
Duh.
If God is unable to prevent evil, then he is not all powerful. If God is not willing to prevent evil, then he is not all good. If God is both willing and able to prevent evil, then why does evil exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Fellers,
David,
thoughts? Yeah, I do.
David-
Yeah.
God stash.
So-
So I think he should answer all God-related questions.
That's true.
That's funny.
David, why do you forsake the world?
Honestly, fucking asshole.
Sorry, my children. Yeah.
So
Stepdaddy David as playing God.
Jesus, no.
my children.
He's got the porn stash. Stepdad. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Oh my God,
Why are
dude,
you
stop.
here? Yeah.
He's
No,
he's Ron Jeremy. But
Oh,
whatever.
No. We don't talk about that fucker on the show.
definitely not.
Oh,
Ron.
did he get
He
canceled?
sexually assaulted a lot of people, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Is a scumbag.
So David is not
Um,
like Ron Jeremy.
Yes, I'm just like a guy with a mustache, and I'll take that. Well, I don't know. I think this is one of the things that people say to try to disprove the existence of God sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Is the trial.
And the immediate counter is that, it's trials and tribulations that God allows us to go through to grow and, persist. That's
Right, like
that's the
all
most
part of-
basic version of that anyway.
a part of his plan. Yeah, he's a grand plan, which is a fundamental
God's
belief.
plan.
Yep.
God's plan. Yeah.
It's funny because that's
He holds back and sometimes he
kind of where
doesn't.
I'm at. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I don't know.
So I'm not a huge GOD guy in general. So I'll let anyone who is
Neither
more
am I.
inclined to that perspective go first here.
I guess I could add something. I mean, the way I kind of feel right now is kind of like Cameron was saying that, like there's like different trials. Like I feel like we're on Earth to be tested somewhat, and I do recognize that there's a lot of complications with that because obviously we're not all put on the same path. You know, others are born into like privileged lives, and others are born like in the dirt, literally.
Mhm.
So it's like hard to gauge. Like obviously they'd have different life experience. It's hard to like judge somebody based on that, and I think that's kind of the point. Is like that we don't know. We're not supposed to judge. I'm not judging nobody. Nobody should judge anybody. I feel like just living life
Except for actual judges.
well, you know what I mean. Like
I got
yeah,
David.
yeah.
That's all I
But
need.
but like I feel like you just live your life as like a generally good person. Like whatever happens in death, like it'll sort it out. Like I said, I
agree with
understand
that.
there's a lot
I
of
can get on board with
complications.
that.
There's a lot of complications to that theory, like
Mm.
because people could be objectively seem bad, but it was based on their life scenarios to why they are that way. You know,
Yeah.
so like it's hard to like how could you like condemn somebody because they done a bad thing when at the roots they weren't developed right, you know?
We're about to get into some really systemic problems, like in a like
Yeah.
just
That's
in
the thing.
America.
That's like it's almost a topic that rappers tackle a lot if you think about it. Like I sold drugs because I had to. I did it to feed my family. I did it to get out of here. Like
Definitely.
No, David did
um,
that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that.
yes. Oh, there you go.
David is currently selling crack on the streets to cover production costs for the podcast.
Crack rock.
Get mustache oil.
Oh my god.
Alrighty.
But
The question is, what is evil? What's the definition of evil?
good question.
Production
I
costs,
feel like that's
Uh,
production cost.
as Kanye said.
Yeah.
Satan,
So-
Satan, Satan.
God.
Right. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Right before that, I think the idea of if there was a creator, maybe he's dead. If there is a creator, and you know he's kind of got this whole plan, whatever, you could sell me the idea that suffering exists in the world in general as, you know, a trial, that life is not supposed to be that easy for everyone, whatever. You could sell me that idea. You could not sell me the idea that a like specific person gets cancer or some terrible disease and that's specifically like a trial given to them by God or something. Like when people say that, like this is just God testing me or something, it's not nearly as common now, I don't think. I mean, there's almost 8 billion people on the planet. Who am I to fucking speak for everyone? But I think it's
Who
less
are
common
you?
now. Who am I? I'm Cameron Blade. Anyway. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could not sell me that like
I
specific
couldn't
specific struggles, specific terrible life events, tragedies, things like that are delivered tests from God or whatever.
No, yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah,
Which
no,
I
I wasn't trying to say you were, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment that in general because I know that's something that kind of comes into this conversation.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
yeah.
That's always tied into the idea of everything being for a reason for me, because it's like
Yeah.
like God's plan is just a sort of specific version of that idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is why I don't believe in that concept at all. It's like Cameron said. I think I'm with you. You can say that general bad stuff, you know, happens or whatever, but I don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm not
mean,
sure.
my most likely scenario in my head is that if there is a creator, it's one that just couldn't care less about us. I mean, it's a big freaking universe. If he made all of it, or even if it's sectioned off, this is his little corner or something like that. There's multiple gods. He, she, genderless. I don't fucking know. Comes back to the idea that what I was saying about like the flame of consciousness, I think I called it, which is essentially the idea that there's something beyond atomic that we are currently unable to observe that has to do with life and creation and all that. There's so much that we don't know that I'm absolutely not ready to say that there is or isn't a creator or something like that, or a being higher than ourselves, or some reason that we're here, some purpose. It all stressed me out so much that I got ridiculously depressed and just like could not live my life. So I got to the point where I just said, there's literally no reason to worry about this because I can't possibly do anything about it. So my answer for everything here is just, I don't know. I'm going to let everyone do whatever they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody else in the process. And as long as they're happy and I'm happy, we're going to be all okay. So I'm good with whatever.
Yeah, I had like this.
I feel like if I could. All right, go, David.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just I can definitely exactly relate to what you're talking about of like stressing out about it so much and then just
it was debilitating. I was like not living my life because I was so worried about existence, and it's like, why? I'm here. I don't know if there's no reason, there's no way of finding out. Like I'm stressing over this question, but there is no answer I can obtain. So why ask myself the question over and over again? Why not ask different ones?
I want to make a correlation here to like, this is something that like has like weighed on my mind a lot, and it's going to relate to Christianity just because that's what I know. But like, for sure. So like the story of Jesus. Right, Jesus was a guy, and he was doing all these great things, and he had no like.
Guy?
The hero was killed by the state.
He was a guy.
Oh wow.
He had no like. He did like nothing criminal or wrong, but they still hated him for it, and they hung him on the cross for it for seemingly no reason. And that's supposed to be that's supposed to be. Well, they had a reason, but it's not like a good reason.
Yeah.
They just didn't like him. It's not like he was a criminal. Like he did nothing bad.
I mean.
So
we've killed cult leaders
but like
before.
my thing is, if that is in God's plan for Jesus to be crucified, then you can't just condemn all those people who actually put Jesus on the cross. Like that could be considered evil, but if that was part of the plan, if that was going to happen, how could they be at fault for that?
So the idea is like, if it's the plan for Jesus to go on the cross, then you can't send Pontius Pilate to hell.
You can't send Judas to hell either.
You can't send Judas to
It's
hell
not that
either.
you can't. It's just like, how could you? Like, why? Like you can't hold them responsible for that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think my uncle like said this to me once when I was younger. Like, hey, if you went back in time, would you save Jesus? I think there was a movie on about it. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And he's like, but he was supposed to die to save everybody. And I was like, dang.
He was trapping
you. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we understand. But like I said, you can't. Could you just condemn all the people that made that happen? If that's part of the plan, you realistically couldn't. And then, even though that is a type of could be looked at as evil.
Yeah, it's like if someone who believes that like everyone is. Which I don't believe. This is a more extreme example, but if everyone is just following God's plan with no free will, then you couldn't really condemn anybody.
Exactly. Right? That's what I was just tackling in my mind.
Yeah.
Like then you couldn't condemn murder then, because that was like part of the plan.
Yeah, which
and I don't think that everything happens like that's part of the plan. This happened as part of the plan. I feel like you just kind of roll with the punches in life, and that's what it is. But like.
Yeah,
Alex was talking about, I think, very specifically like that Jesus specifically had to die. So so the people who killed him therefore like shouldn't be condemned. But if you just commit murder by yourself,
but who's to say that that's not supposed to happen?
If that's not, who's to say that isn't God's plan to murder someone?
Of course, I just want to say that's a more general concept of. The plan involves everything as opposed to the plan involves these three things that have to happen, but everything else is whatever.
Yeah. Just trying to take it to the extreme conclusion whenever, like,
Yeah.
This bank had to be shut up, and then all this stuff had to happen, and then eventually Earth could ascend for this reason or whatever. Like that could be something someone thought, but I don't know. What do you think, Brian? I feel like you haven't said exactly on this. I don't know.
Puckers
Yeah, pretty much
lips.
said everything that was on my mind.
Dang.
I tried to butt in, but I was like, oh, all right.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Just cucking the guest. I'm an asshole. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's not. I should just scream at you next time.
True, yeah.
Please
Yeah,
do.
just join the club.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they meet on Tuesdays. Yeah.
Dang. I don't know.
All right, that's about all we had for this week. But
Yeah. And Something to think.
you got the patented.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost positive that you stole it from JT now, because I hear it in the song, and 10-year-old David heard that and he was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I should put on a FSU hat and go,
FSU hat. Nah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know where I got it from. Dang.
That's fantastic.
That's just funny though, because every time I hear or even like see it spelled, I just think of you. I'm just like, that's David.
That's really funny.
Someone else is copying David.
Dang, JT's copying me. Big fact.
Alrighty. Is there anything else you guys would like to touch upon this week?
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, I didn't get to say my cute story.
Go
So
ahead.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, me neither.
yeah.
All right, so we'll end out with a little bit of story time here.
All right.
Yeah. So like recently I have been a dumbass and I forgot to renew my tag. My Florida license tag, the one that gives you the right to drive for 12 months.
On your car.
And, yeah. And you're supposed to
Yeah. And you're supposed to.
Bro, Trevor's, I believe, mother just walked in, and he just like turns and looks at her, and it was just like giving the penguins from Madagascar like smile and wave. Like he just he's like,
smile and wave,
hi.
boy, smile and wave.
It's like,
Yeah.
hi.
Well, like I have my blinds open, and she walks up to the window, and she like waves at me like I'm a circus animal.
Through the window. That's funny.
Yeah,
as
she,
fuck.
like I'm in SeaWorld or something,
Oh
and
my
this is my
God.
exhibit.
That's excellent.
I love you, Mom.
The exhibit.
Free the whales.
But she listens to this, so I'm not shitting on you. I love you. All right. So, anyways, so I forgot to renew my tag. It is currently November 13th, and normally your like rule of thumb is to do it before your birthday, so that way you don't have to fucking deal with it. But it just completely slipped my mind this year. So I'm on my way. I had just bought the new Call of Duty, and I came back, and I wanted to pop that in before I went to the DMV. Because I figured that the download would take forever, so I wanted to kill two birds with one stone.
Which it did.
So, yeah, it did for a little bit, but like the kicker is when I left my house to go to the DMV, I'm like 200 feet away from it, like 200 feet away from like turning right into the DMV, and a cop pulls up behind me, and I start sweating bullets. Like we were at a red light, and the guy behind me gave enough room for the cop that was sitting at a stop sign to turn into the lane right behind me. And I'm just like, dude, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So he's sitting right behind me, and I drive for like maybe 20 seconds. I'm like, dude, I'm just like, I literally like sit up on the wheel, and I'm just like, bruh, please don't fucking do this. Please don't do this right now. I don't want to pay money. So I drive for like 20 seconds, and he turns right. He turns right with me, and I'm just like, dude, like he's gonna catch me. And then it like, luckily it was a 2-lane road that I turned on, and he turned in the other lane, and he just like starts speeding off. But the kicker of that story is that the guy in front of me was driving an SUV, and his tag was expired from September.
Dang.
So I'm not
So
the
even
only
more
one that
than
does
you.
this.
Yeah.
I thought
There's
that
a lot
was
of
the
irresponsible
funniest shit ever.
drivers in Florida.
Yeah,
That
but
cop
it just
would
like
have to be an asshole to give you a like you said you're like less than a mile from the DM, like super
like,
close to the
literally
DMV,
I could see the DMV
just down the road, and you're like, bro, I'm actively going to get this tag changed right now. Like Google Maps has it right here. Like, look at my shit. That cop would have to be an asshole to ticket you for that. My God.
But I mean, they like, I think it's like rule of thumb for them to just like, whenever they're at a red light, they just run the plate
plates,
in front of them. Yeah, because that's just what they do, and
Yeah.
that's how they catch criminals.
Right.
But
That's
God
funny.
damn, I
got
was
some-
sweating bullets, dude. I felt like is that Jordan Peele in the meme where the
Yes.
black guy's like sweating
yeah.
bullets? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was me. What's that from? Is that one of his skits?
Probably. I think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
King of
one
Hill,
where
yeah.
he's like getting found out on cheating or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Eh.
That's what popped into my head. I'm just like, dude, come on, don't do this.
Sweating his ass off.
I
I
got
don't
some
remember which one it
stories.
is exactly, but
So that was my funny story of the day.
I got some stories.
Okay.
Well, the first off, you just reminded me, Trevor, when you were talking about how you see and you're reminded of David. I was studying for
How could
my
you not?
pathophysiology class. How could you not? I was studying for my pathophysiology class, and I came across a word in like the slide. It was the word is gait, Gait, and I'm like, I don't know what that word means, so I searched it up. Gait, and the definition of gait, because it's like a symptom, a person's manner of walking. And when I read that, I immediately thought
The
of
strut.
David's classic strut.
He doesn't
Automatically,
even walk,
David's
he struts.
gait.
I can't
Dude,
wait
my
to see it.
man throws his ass in the air whenever he walks. It's so cute.
Elite.
Honestly,
David's a sex symbol.
He's just always on the runway.
he is the Marilyn Monroe of our generation.
He's got curves in all the right places.
Yeah, look at that mustache. You can.
You could just ride that. You could use it as
Alright.
a target.
Yeah, but okay. But my real story,
Okay, but
Yeah. Okay.
nah, cause I had another story.
Homie,
but
homie
it's-
did that to me earlier. Like nothing I said for the last 30 minutes mattered.
no.
Oh, dude.
That was good as
Holy
fuck. All
fuck.
right, go ahead, dude.
All right, yeah. So I too was at GameStop
Oh yeah.
to pick up the video game, right? Not Call of Duty though, Kingdom Hearts,
Okay.
Melody of Memory, because that came out today. I had to be in line with all the Call of Duty plebs. I don't understand how the GameStop functions because you have two guys in there. One of them is checking people out, and the other dude is just standing there, and he's like, "What can I get for you today?" And then everybody says Call of Duty, and he's like, "All right," and then he just stands there. And like the line would. I stood in line for like 20 minutes. It would have moved so much faster if he would have got on the register and started.
David is
checking people out, too.
dying. What is happening?
That's so.
Just beside-
I don't know, man.
Just
Maybe he's not allowed or something. Maybe he's not trained.
Maybe he's a trainer.
And then he gets no, but he was the store manager. He had it on his tag.
Oh, well, then he's a bot then.
Yeah.
He's just an
Yeah,
asshole.
he gets to me. He's like, "What are you here for? Call of Duty?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Are you here for the Game & Watch?" I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "I'm here for Kingdom Hearts."
And he was
and then he's
like,
like-
gate.
Nah, he was like,
You're
he's
a
like, he took out
You're a
this piece
loser.
of paper. Nah. He took out this piece of paper, and he takes out the piece of paper. He says, "Are you Alex?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he says, and he just wrinkles it up and throws it away. He's like, "All right, I don't have to call you later today."
Oh,
And
dang.
I'm
was
like,
the-
"Okay."
That's
But
so
I was.
funny.
It is funny, and I was inching up to the register, and the homie checking people out seemed real enthusiastic, and I was like, "All right,
How
what's
dare
going on
he.
with this guy?" But no. But he was enthusiastic at people's phone numbers because he was
Oh,
like,
did one of them spell boobs or something?
nah. Like every time somebody,
course
he'd
your
be like,
mind
"What's your
goes
phone
there.
number?" And then they'd say like 407, and he'd be like, "Yeah," and then they say the next digit, he'd be like, "Yeah," and then he'd say the last four, and he's like, "Yes," and I'm
Maybe he's
Maybe
got
the
a
last four
a
maybe.
phone number.
Orgasm with that.
Yeah, maybe he's got
Yeah.
a phone number fetish.
yeah, and then he like repeated someone else's phone number back to them, and he's like say the last numbers was like 6874. He's like 6874. Yeah, And I was
You're lying.
I'm not lying. I'm like, this guy is on. What is he?
He's on.
He's having a nut on these phone numbers. Like,
Oh
yeah.
my
He's
he
god.
just
having
gets
a
to
nut.
me and he's like, yeah. My phone number. I'm like, okay.
That's funny, dude. You should have started recording.
I
like-
wish I should. I was just in the moment. I didn't think of it. I was just
Yeah.
laughing.
Man.
That's actually
But-
funny. Yeah, well.
That's pretty juicy.
That
Goddamn.
is juicy. Yeah.
My man
And then
jerked
he
off
just
to
says-
Yellow Pages.
He just hands
Jesus
me the
Christ.
game. Like when he handed me Kingdom Hearts, he was like mad disappointed
Yo,
because he just
Domino's?
handed it to me.
8756. What were you
He
saying?
just-
I'm sorry.
I said he was mad disappointed, seemingly, when I got Kingdom Hearts because he just put it on the counter and just stared at me, and I was like, "Thanks, have a good day." And he just stared at me, and I was like, All right.
It's because he knows you're not a real gamer.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Only
I'm there.
plays by Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but everybody there for
We'll
Call
love
of
to
Duty
the scene
is a
with a
gamer.
different game.
It's
Hey,
hilarious.
Kingdom Hearts is a great series.
Well, I'm making
Oh,
a
yeah.
joke, but you be judging people that play Call of Duty, and that's corny as fuck.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
True.
That's mad corny.
It's big corny.
I don't judge people that play Call of Duty.
Yes, you do.
It's a certain type of
You-
certain type of gamer, but I don't like spit on them.
You just you
don't have to spit
started
on them
off
to
that
judge
story
them,
by
silly.
saying you started off
Y'all
that
are
story
just
by
part
saying
of a
that
hive mind. Y'all don't know anything.
Sure.
No.
So if you're part of the hive mind that likes Game of Thrones, then suck my dick.
It's actually good. All right. Well, the last
No.
season.
Okay, so that's you're all right. Y'all are just being ridiculous.
I didn't say it was never good.
Dang.
you
It's just the
started
same.
off the story by referring to the people in line as Call of Duty plebs. Is all I'll say.
Dang.
I was there for one game and one game only, and everybody else was there for the stereotypical.
How
reason.
fucking dare they, man?
How dare they?
How dare
How
people
dare they?
get themselves in a game?
And I just have one guy asking me what game I'm here for, and then just stands there when he could be
If-
taking out everything.
Nah, man. If I'm at Disney and I'm at like one of them food carts and everyone is getting a pizza and I'm getting a hamburger, I fucking hate everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck them,
If that happens, you are on a higher level of intelligence. But,
honestly.
yeah, you are superior.
Fucking Alex. And Brian, it's not the same game. I can promise you that.
Sure about that?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if I'd even. I mean,
What, Cold War?
This-
No, absolutely not the same.
I mean,
game.
I didn't even play it, so I shouldn't judge.
it's fine. I think you can judge, but
I do that all the time, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
don't do that. It's a podcast.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
That's bars.
Yeah, you're right.
Dang.
It's my first time on this podcast. I don't want people to think badly about me yet.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
He
Doesn't
doesn't
get comfortable with him.
Maybe he does. Dang. Well, there you go, guys. That's
All right.
just
We're at like 138, so I think we can cut it here.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
dope.
That was a lovely episode.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian, for joining us. We love you.
Yes, thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having me.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
did great.
I love you.
Appreciate it.
Love you too.
Please come back later, some other time as well.
Of
Yes,
course,
sir.
this was fun.
Give
Nice.
us a nice goodbye to the people for us.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me. I love you all.
Hey, you oh, shit.
Good body.
Yeah,
That's
was-
my line.
Oh,
Oh shit, sorry.
well,
It's-
Alex, you have to say you love everybody now instead of all.
Yeah.
I love everybody.
I
Uh-huh.
hate everybody. That album sucks.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for setting that up. Ah, you're a clever.
Absolutely. It has been realer than real. It's been metaphysically confirmed real, my guys.
Ooh.
All right. Adios.
Peace out, baby.